And we're live.
Hello, welcome to the call. Glad you guys are here with us on this Wednesday afternoon in the US. If you guys can hear us, let us know if we are quiet or too loud or anything like that. Let us know if you can also see our video.
Getting logged in. I'm not putting the chat yet. Introduce Sam.
Our puppy's here, but you can't really see him. You can kind of see his head down there in the bottom left corner.
He's looking at ducks or something. Go ahead and tell him to get questions. Sorry about that.
All right. You can go ahead and put your questions into the chat box, and we will start answering them very shortly.
Who's here? You welcome them. Yeah.
I'm opening up my spreadsheet right now.
All right. Just making sure all the technical stuff was done there, guys. We've been swimming for the past 2 hours with the kids, or I have. I took them out on a paddle board and we've been floating around. So we just got in here and got hooked up. I'm looking at the chat. It says I can hear. Paul says I can hear and see you. That's good. All right. If I can get one more confirmation from somebody, we will get started. We've got people logging in right now. Welcome, everybody, to our last member call of June. I think we've got one next week, too, though, don't we?
Yeah,
It just worked
Shane.
out that
Shane
way,
kind of became in charge of scheduling the member calls, so they're
which
a
is
little
dangerous.
crazy.
Yeah. We usually spread
So
them out, but we're going to go ahead and hook those up back to back because of our production schedule and where we email out and some of the things that we promote. We wanted to make sure that we had time to actually get more notifications out for member calls and stuff like that. So we're good. Go ahead and put your questions in right now into the chat box. Don't have any questions below. Kind of a light turnout today, but it's 1 o'clock. It's a weird kind of time for a member call, but we do rotate these to make sure that everybody gets a chance to attend to different times. So go ahead and put your questions in right now. If we don't have questions, we don't have a member call. So go ahead and write your questions. Don't be shy. Jocelyn's got the spreadsheet open. I think we've already got one or two, don't we? Yep.
yeah.
All right, we've got one or two in. So we want to make sure that we have plenty of questions ahead of time. There is a delay in the audio. If this is your first member call, then welcome. We're excited to have you here. And we can't wait to answer your questions and help you move forward. Couple quick announcements. We do have, I think, around 20 tickets left to Flip Your Life Live. Jocelyn, if you could drop a link into the chat. Fliplifestyle.com/live. If you do not have your ticket yet, you need to get it now, because once these sell out, we are not adding any more seats, period, under any circumstances. And this is the last Flip Your Life Live conference, a big, huge 100-person plus event. We'd really love to see you guys in Lexington. We are not doing Flip Your Life Live in 2020. It is not happening. And we have no plans to do it after that. So this is it. This is your chance to attend. It's amazing. It's going to be an awesome event. People are going to take massive action and get a lot done. You're going to be able to come hang out with 100 other Flip Your Life Live attendees. We did sell out in June last year. We're close to the sellout right now. And I'm going to be emailing people out the next week or two to get that thing sold out and get it done. So don't miss your chance to grab one of those tickets. Also, I've got a couple spots open right now in our private all access mastermind. So Jocelyn put a fliplifestyle.com/private on there. I've got, I think, 2 spots left. Somebody bought one this morning. So I think there's 2 spots left right now. And I do not know for sure if we will have any spots available the rest of the summer, because this next month, me and Jocelyn have to travel a lot. August, we'll be planning for our own event, and then our event happens in September. So if you want a guaranteed spot in our private one-on-one mastermind, you need to check that out.
Those are just kind
Fliplifestyle.com/private.
of those are just kind of open, like as they come open. As
Yep.
people leave the program, people don't leave very often. So if it's something you think you might be interested in, I recommend checking it out
Yep.
really
It's not just
quickly.
a normal membership tier. It's like, oh, one person did their thing and they're done. Okay, next person gets a chance. So we've got a couple spots open right now. You really want to get in that. It comes with 12 weeks of one-on-one access to me and Jocelyn on Voxer. You can literally ask us questions on our phones And also, you'll get a 60-minute strategy session, and we will plan that 12 weeks out for you. Our goal is to help you get more done in 12 weeks than you did in the last year. Tanya said, I bought my mastermind yesterday. Yes, you did. Tanya's got
Woo-hoo.
one of those spots. Cannot wait to get on that strategy session with you, Tanya. It's going to be
Also
awesome.
coming to the Lexington event.
Also
We're
coming to the
very,
live
very
event.
excited about
It's going to
that.
be awesome. So if you've not got either one of those opportunities, they're right there in front of you. You might as well sign up today during the call and go ahead and ask your questions now. So listen, we're going to start answering questions. You just type them in. If you've got follow-up questions, we will pick those up as well.
All right, and I have a little bit of a allergy attack, so if I'm coughing and sneezing and such, you'll know what happened.
Yeah, we've been trying to, we've recorded like 5 podcasts, and Jocelyn has powered through them like the pro she is.
Kind of sound like I'm hacking up a lung, but whatever.
Right.
Okay, well, let's get going with today's questions. The first question is from David and Jill, and it says, what is the best way currently to build a following? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm guessing we should not pay for advertising until we launch a product people can pay for. When we do, what advertising do you recommend we use first? Paying for ads on Facebook? Our business is for homeschooling families.
You know, there's no real right answer to this, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is quite the Pandora's box
Yes,
there,
like
David and Jill.
like you can't say Facebook's better, Instagram's better, YouTube's better. What's better is what works, and what works is, I don't know. You got to figure it out. You got to experiment, like, right? So of course we immediately go to Google, YouTube, and Facebook as much as possible, because that's where the search traffic happens. You know, the top 2 search engines on the planet are Google and YouTube. If you want to get found, buy ads on Google and you will appear in search results. Buy ads on YouTube, you will appear in search results, and you'll get people to look at you. Facebook has a great ad platform. Every human being alive almost that's connected to the internet has Facebook, right? But that doesn't mean it's perfect for everybody. The right thing for you could be advertising on other homeschool podcasts, maybe going to other homeschool bloggers and asking them if you can buy ads in their sidebar to a lead magnet. It could be going, your best possible way you could get leads could be going and getting interviewed on other people's podcasts, or going out and doing guest blog posts for somebody. Like, there's no right answer to paid traffic or traffic. You just have to do a lot of things until something works. And when you figure it out, something that works for you, you just focus all your energy on that one channel until it exhausts itself. Because I know millionaires that only advertise on Facebook. I also know millionaires who only rely on SEO and Google ad traffic, right? I know millionaires who are doing Instagram. We know millionaire YouTubers. Like, there's a millionaire in every niche. There's a millionaire using every platform, and you have to figure out what works for you in your niche where your people are.
And so what you might be thinking right now is, okay, do I have to do all of these things and try them? Not necessarily. So one of the things that you can do, sort of a little hack, I guess you would say, is you can go to people who are influencers in your space and see where they're getting a lot of engagement. Maybe they have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook, and a LinkedIn. Maybe they have 4,000 Twitter followers, but they have 30 Facebook followers. So that might be an indication that Twitter is a good place for your niche. You may get on there and see that they have a lot of Instagram followers and that they have a lot of engagement on Instagram. So that might be a good clue that that's where your audience likes to interact. Now, I wouldn't base it on just one person, probably, because maybe they just like to use that particular platform.
Or they got lucky and they just built an audience on Instagram.
And so I would look at a few different people, a few different influencers, and see what they're doing, where they're at, where they're speaking to their audience, and more importantly, where their audience is engaging with them.
And where they're spending money. Like, you can go to anyone's Facebook page and see what ads they're running. Like, you can click on transparency over on the right, and it'll show you like the ads that they're actually running. If someone's running ads on a platform, that's a good sign they're making money on the ad platform, because they're spending money to make money, right? So, you know, I know everybody wants give us the magic answer. There is no magic answer. Like, what works for us has been different for every one of our businesses. Like, for example, I was looking at my U.S. history teacher website or Facebook page just last week, and it gets every bit of 5 to 10 times more engagement than our Facebook page for Flip Lifestyle. Like, it's just like, for some reason, they really engage with the posts on that Facebook page, but not on the other one. Those are 2 businesses we actually own Facebook's way better for that, getting engagement on there, like getting ads, doing stuff like that. So it can be different from niche to niche, from site to site, and you're just going to have to roll up your sleeves. And this is another thing too. This is actually, I want to touch on this because I was talking about this with somebody just the other day. People are like, well, I don't want to spend $100 on ads if they're not going to work. Well, if you don't spend the $100, you don't know if they're going to work. You may run ads, guys, for a full year before you make $1 back. You may spend $200 a month for a full year, spend $2,400 before you hit one thing that works, and then all of a sudden it works. I had a buddy. We were at a mastermind retreat in 2017, and he was just getting into pay-per-click, like ads on Google Ads, right? And they just got their ads working about 2 months ago. But his company stayed the course. They kept investing. And now, once it hit, 2 months later, they made all the money back they spent in the first 2 years. But they stayed with it, and they kept going, and they kept experimenting, and they kept trying. It's an investment. It's not a spend. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, if you think you're just going to hit the magic ad button out of the gate, you're wrong. Like, you're going to have to go out and risk some money to experiment to find out what works for you on different ad platforms. So, gut up, go do it, get after it, and you'll figure out what works in your business.
All right, we are moving on. All right, this question is from BK, and I'm not 100% sure what that stands for, but it says, I have one lead magnet created. I'm using a singular Facebook ad to promote it for an opt-in. I want the next best step to up my game with paid promotion. Number one, should I create more ads for the same lead magnet, or should I create an entirely new lead magnet and ad? Number two, if I stick with the same lead magnet, should I try multiple ads until I get one that converts, or try a different platform like YouTube or Google? And that was from Brian.
Can we say all of the above? Okay, but do it in order. Like, for example, since you already have a lead magnet and you have one ad, what you want to do is you want to create a second ad, and you want to change one variable. Maybe it's the picture. Maybe it's the words. Maybe it's the title that goes to the link, right? But you just change like one variable, and you want to be able to test those two ads against each other for a certain amount of time, like maybe 2 weeks. Then what you do is you say, okay, well, this one's clearly the winner. So scratch this one, change another variable, and do it again. And you always have two ads going against each other. That's called split testing. Okay. And they're always going to that same lead magnet. But you could do this for like 10 ads. If you go to, if you look at some of, like I was looking this morning at how there's a live event in England that we were looking at. And it was like, I saw an ad for it. So I went in and looked, and they've got 15 ads. And the only difference was the pictures. All the copy was the same, but they're just testing what's working. They're going to kill the bad ones, add some new ones, and you keep coming up with ideas. Russell Brunson, he has a team that builds ads, and they will go into a room, lock themselves in, and their team builds the first version of the ad. Once they're done, they go hand off the ad to another team that's not related to anything they do. They got this other team across the building, and their job is to go create variations and try to beat that ad, the original one. So you're constantly changing and testing all of your ads to make them work better, right? But it does work better if you've got more than one lead magnet. And of course, I would recommend trying a little bit of Google, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of whatever. Like, you got to test different things depending on what your budget looks like. So I guess the step-by-step there would be what? Split test first. Second, split test first, then try 2 different platforms, and then make a new lead magnet.
Yeah, I mean, go for the low-hanging fruit. Like, you already have this lead magnet done, so let's not create another one. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Like, let's just test some things against itself. See what happens. All right. This question is from Jeff. Jeff says, I'm heading to Belgium next week, and while there, I will shoot some on-location videos for my online chocolate school for kids. I'm planning to launch this course in September and primarily target homeschool families. I was thinking about running Facebook ads in July and August to recruit for a beta group. Do I need a lead magnet to capture email addresses, or do you think I can get people to give their emails on a be to the first to know when the course is out? Do you think a lead magnet is the way to go? And do you have thoughts of what I should use for one?
Usually waiting lists only really work to your existing audience, not to like cold people. So like if Jocelyn and I, like when we did Flip Your Life Live, we sent an email to the whole list and we said, are you interested in coming to a live event? Boom. Everybody clicks the link and does all the things. But like they're familiar with us, they know us, so it's a lot easier to get that. Cold, I don't intuitively, I'm not sure if that would work. I think you would have to lure them in somehow, like get a free chocolate recipe or something. And then when they opt in for that on the thank you page, maybe it's like, hey, be the first to know, so you create it almost like a funnel where you're selling the waiting list
And I
or
think it
something like
could
that.
work. Say maybe if you went on a homeschooling podcast and you talked about your experience, and then you said, hey, I'm going to be coming up with something cool for homeschooling families. If you would like to know more about it, you can sign up on my waiting list here.
So you need like a bridge like that,
That would
because
probably
that
work.
person's introducing you to their audience. So there's some know, like, and trust that's like transferred basically. Like if you do that. So if you could get in front of other people's audiences, you could probably grow the waiting list.
And I think that he does have a list of people, like, because Jeff also sells chocolates. And he actually brought some to the live event last year. So,
And they were delicious.
yeah.
But still, like throwing a bunch of ad money out to get people, I think you're gonna have to give something away. Like you're gonna have to, like, why wouldn't opt in for just a waiting list if I
But
didn't know there were?
I would try to make it geared toward homeschool families. So, like, maybe it would be a simple chocolate making, um, I don't know what you call
Well,
it.
this is more like you know what you could do? You could treat it like a pre-sale. So like what you could do is you could show an ad and it basically is like, it's just, imagine it exists and you sell it like you would the ad for the thing. Like, get your homeschool chocolate course, do what a great activity to do with your kids. Click here. They click there and go to the sales page and it spells it all out. And then it says at the bottom, coming soon. Like you basically sell it like it's amazing. And then coming soon, when they click it, it's like, oh, I want that. Click it. Oh, hey, this is coming on August 24th. Get on the waiting list and you'll be the first to know about it. Like you don't even have to mention that it's a product or a price yet. Like you're going to follow back up with that, but you'd almost have to, like, the ad would have to be like, get your chocolate course. And then the sales page would be like, look how awesome this course is going to be. And it's like outlined. And then when they click the button, like download your free course, they click it and it pops up and goes, hey, coming soon, April 25th, sign up and be reminded when it comes out. And then you send them, back that page whenever it's done. And basically it has a price tag on it at the end.
But what you don't want to do is create a product that's geared toward homeschooling families and then keep your lead magnet real generic, like Belgian chocolate course,
Yeah.
because
It
that's
has to
going to
say
be like a
that.
disconnect. It needs to be the same type
Like it
of
needs to say
thing.
homeschool chocolate course on the ad, basically. And then like only homeschoolers who want to do that, like looking for a great project with your homeschool kids, try our Belgian chocolate course, ... And then there's a picture and it's delicious chocolate or a mom and a kid cooking chocolate or something. Then they click it, they go to a sales page, they're reading how awesome this course is, all the modules, what's going to be in it. And at the bottom, when they click it, it's, coming soon, comes out this date, get on the waiting list. So you'll know how to do it. So treat it like a pre-sale with no price tag, basically.
Okay. This question is from Cynthia. Cynthia says, from your training for doing a webinar, I need guidance. I will be doing the YouTube Live and I need a registration page and reminders. Where are these located? Do I have them sign up to my emails and then send reminders from there? Or is there something in YouTube itself? I could use guidance on setting this up.
Okay. So how Cynthia is talking about doing webinars here is doing a YouTube Live and driving traffic to the YouTube Live page. You can also do what I do with this member call. Like right now, you're in a post. I've embedded the YouTube video and the chat in that post, right? So how I do webinars is we do a YouTube Live or a Hangout, whatever they call it these days, events, all right? We schedule it. We take that, we embed it on a page. It's like fliplifestyle.com/webinars or something like that. And then what happens is that page now hosts the webinar. So then what I do is I create an opt-in box using Infusionsoft and using WordPress, because that's what we do now.
But you can do it on other email
Yeah,
providers.
you can do it on
too.
yeah, for sure. You just need an opt-in box that puts them on a specific list, a very specific list for webinars and for the webinar they're signing up for. And once they opt in, I've got the dates set in the email list, and it just triggers, and I write my emails in Infusionsoft. You can also go get Webinar Jam or Webinar Ninja, or there's lots of software that does this for you. But we had trouble with some of it, and we just didn't feel like fighting with it, and so we kind of create our own system where we're more in control of the content. But you can totally just sign up for Webinar Ninja or Webinar Jam or any other GoToWebinar. Any of these programs will do all the reminders for you. All you have to do is set the date.
So basically, there are two different ways to do this. So you can do it the way that you're talking about, which is where you use your email service provider to set up all the emails and to send them out the reminders and all that. The good thing about it is that it is not as costly. However, the bad thing about it is that it's a lot more manual. So basically that means that you have to go in and manually set up all the emails and, get people on that list and all that kind of stuff. All right. And then you'll have to find the links yourself and put them in the emails and blah, blah, blah. The other way to do it is, like Shane's saying, to pay for one of the services like Webinar Jam, Webinar Ninja, whatever. There's a bunch of them. And, it does all the work for you, meaning that, people sign up on the platform, their emails are captured in that platform, and that most of the time they will also go to your email service provider.
You can integrate like Webinar Jam with ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, Infusionsoft.
Yeah,
whatever.
usually they will integrate. So if you're going to go that route, you need to find one that integrates with whatever email service provider you're using. And it does a lot of the work for you, meaning that you go in and set up all the reminder emails one time. And as long as they're not super specific, you can use them over again for future webinars. And so that is a lot less manual work. However, it is more expensive. Most of them are going to be about $500 to $600 for a year subscription. So, if you're at that place in your business and you choose to do it that way, that's cool.
It's an investment.
If you don't,
you're going to make the money.
it's okay.
Yeah, but it's like we do it our way because for one thing, we teach this, right? And a lot of people come in and they're like, well, I don't want to pay for Webinar Jam. Or I'm like, well, how could you do a webinar without Webinar Jam? And so I created a system where I have an opt-in box. It puts them on a list. They get reminders for the webinar. It's manual. We have to go in and check the dates, but I can teach that system to anybody. It's literally embed a YouTube video, embed a chat box, go in and set up some email reminders.
Well, and for us, we have people who can go in and do those things for us.
Like someone else does this member call for us. Like they actually set up the event, put the video in.
We just show up and hit play.
Exactly. So there's lots of different variables. No system is perfect, but if you're having trouble getting it set up, then something like Webinar Jam is probably what you need to look at, because it's literally paint by numbers, follow the steps, and you can have a webinar. Okay. But in general, here's how a webinar works. You're on video. Send them an email to remind them what page on your website that video exists on. That's it. Like, it's like, I'm having a webinar on Sunday at 9:00. I put a video on a page. I send you an email that says, go to this link at 9:00. That's it. That's what a webinar is.
Okay. And so you can even do it super manually. Like if you are just starting out, you don't want to pay for anything right now, just
send it to YouTube Live.
Capture people's names on your list, and an hour before the event, send them an email with a link. I mean,
totally
that
manual.
will work. Okay?
Totally manual. You could do it totally
That
manually.
will work. It doesn't, just because you can have reminders 48 hours before and 24 hours before and 12 hours before and 6 hours before. You don't have to do that. Like, don't make it harder than it is. I was going to say also, there is it's like a service. It's called Add Event, I believe, like ADD event. And that will allow you to get a link, or you can even put it on a button on your site to let people add things to their calendar.
Their own calendar.
So if you look at the top of the member area in our website, it says click here to add to your calendar. And there's a little link there. So for the next member call, if you want to make sure that you are on it, you can do that. And I think it's in the email as well.
Yeah. And that's super simple. It would be like opt in, send them to a thank you page. The thank you page has a button that has the date of your event. 20 minutes before your webinar, shoot an email to everybody and say, hey guys, I'm going live in 20 minutes. That's it. And listen, for those of you who are really overwhelmed, like if you have a YouTube channel, which is you do if you have a Gmail account, just go to YouTube. But like, just set up an event. You just click host event, pick the date. There it is. It's over. And then just send them to your YouTube page. Do the webinar. The most important thing is that you get in front of someone and sell your product. All this other nonsense is just bells and whistles, right? ClickFunnels does their webinars on Zoom. They just email out a Zoom link. You click it and you join the Zoom. Like, it's very uncomplicated. So
Yeah, and I think there's kind of a theme for this call. Like, there's no right or wrong ways to do anything. And I think a lot of times you guys do the same thing that we do. You're making it too hard. Like, don't make it so hard. If all you do is create a link and send it to people who are interested, you're doing more than 90% of people are doing. Like, don't beat yourself up so much.
I've got a buddy that only does his webinars on Facebook Live because he has a massive Facebook audience, like massive Facebook audience. So like, he just, whenever he wants to do a webinar, he just sets up an event on his Facebook page and he just shows up and talks to them and drops a link in the first comment. I mean, it's like how can you get people to listen to you and then click a link? And then how can you remind them to show up? Like, that's the only questions you have to ask yourself when you're doing a webinar. So don't make it look perfect. Don't make it look like anybody else. How can you accomplish those goals? Go do that.
And ask yourself this week, what am I making too hard and how can I stop? I have to ask myself that a lot.
We do it too, guys. Don't think you're the only one. Like, we'll draw up these super hyper complicated things, and then we're like, man, if we had just emailed them to a YouTube page, that would have been a whole lot easier. And we're like, yeah, that probably would have worked.
Well, and a lot of times it's a stumbling block. You know, you feel like if you don't know the right answer, and there's not a right answer, but you feel like if you can't come up with the exact thing that ABC person did to make $8 billion, then you're not doing it right. Well, that's not true.
It's also
just
fear.
Do something.
I think some people are like scared to do the webinars, and like, so they just keep finding ways to make them more complicated, so they can almost get mired into the,
oh, I couldn't figure out the tech.
Man, I tried. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to do my webinar, but just can't figure it out. Like, no, just literally, you could go live on Facebook and do a webinar like anytime you wanted to. So let's try to all uncomplicate our businesses this week.
Again, sorry for all the coughing. I've got like terrible allergy drainage right now. All right. This question is from Jennifer. Jennifer says, no one is showing up for my challenge that's at 6 a.m. through tomorrow. Since I've had such terrible results with the live interactive challenge, do you think I should try it again? Should I give up on the harder stuff and just do the easy stuff, which I don't love? Or should I keep pressing for the higher intensity stuff? Should I just switch gears and try another business? Should I just go back to bed because I'm tired because 5 a.m. is early? Should I cry? No, you should definitely not cry.
Don't do any of those things, but everyone goes through those emotions. I wouldn't give up on the challenges. I'd keep doing them, but you might want to like try. Okay, so let me give you some background. Jennifer has a yoga business.
Like a brick and mortar,
but she's also online, and she's trying to like really like promote high intensity yoga. It's like intense stuff, not as passive yoga. She really loves the high intensity stuff, but she's having trouble getting people into the high intensity stuff. So she's asking, should she try different things? I think the problem is it's like this. If I want to catch, like, we have a 10-acre lake behind our house. We have all kinds of fish in it, right? We've got crappie, we've got bass, we've got bluegill, we've got catfish, all kinds of stuff is running around out there. Okay.
We have turtles,
massive turtles as big as your head. Okay. So like, there's all kinds of stuff in this pond, right? So like, I'm going to have to go out, onto the water in a boat and fish the entire thing, even though I may be looking for one fish. My guess is you're probably going to have to cast a wider net and go after anyone who's interested in any kind of virtual yoga. And then as that, you might have 10,000 people on your list eventually that love yoga, but only 200 of them care about the high intensity yoga. But that's how it works. You got to cast a huge net of the general audience to find the niche, right? Like, we talk about online business. We talk about business. We go on other people's podcasts. But the fish that we're trying to catch are family-focused entrepreneurs that really care about their kids and their spouse, and they're trying to create a better future for their family and themselves. And like, we're not trying, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people on our list that are digital nomads, running around Thailand on their motor scooters or whatever. Like there's probably, single people on our list. There's probably, but that's not the fish we're trying to catch. We're just casting a wide net, right? I cast a wide net on my on our history site for all history teachers or all social studies teachers, right? That's what I'm targeting. But like I want the people that teach United States history, period. Right. But I have to catch a wide net to catch those. When I sold football playbooks, I wanted every football coach. But all I really wanted to sell were people who wanted to run the 3-5-3 defense in high school. Didn't care about youth coaches, didn't care about anybody else. That's it. That's all I wanted. And you're probably going to have to catch a wide net, and then you sell them the thing you want to sell them, right? Or you're just not going to ever have enough people to sell to.
So I kind of have some different thoughts on this actually. And I was thinking about this after we finished our podcast. Jennifer was just on the podcast. I think it was last Tuesday. And, we really didn't get into all this stuff because it was just a lot of information. But, I think that there are kind of different ways to do what it is that you're doing. And I think about this lady that I follow on YouTube. Her name's Carla, and she loves advanced step aerobics. Now, if there's one thing that most people in the exercise world will tell you they hate, it is what they call dancey step aerobics. Most people hate it, but I love it. I'm one of the weirdos who like things as choreographed and as complicated as you can make them. And the reason that I like that is because it makes me turn my brain off of other things that I'm thinking about. Like the choreography is so complex, I can't think about anything else. And for me, that's a good thing because my mind is moving 24 hours a day. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that there is a market out there for people who enjoy advanced high intensity yoga. I think that's what you call it. So, what you have to do is figure out a way to make that accessible to other people. And what I mean by that is to basically kind of water it down a little bit and catch those people who are kind of more beginners, but maybe they still want a high intensity workout. But
Or like they're bored. Like you're saying, like they're like maybe it's people who are doing yoga but want something more, but they don't even know this thing exists. Like,
But
right?
here's the
Like,
thing. There's a reason that the books for dummies was a huge market. It's because people always think that they're a beginner no matter what stage they're in. Like if I were looking at classes at a gym, I would probably pick an easy class even though I can handle something probably a lot harder. But you don't often give yourself credit for
right.
what you know or what you can do. And so if you see something and you think to yourself, "Oh, this is beginner intense yoga."
Yeah,
Like,
that's good.
so you see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's going to help you like rope more people in because just saying that it's crazy high intensity and hard, like most people are going to kind of shy away from that, even if they can handle it. But if you say, "Hey, I'm going to do this, but I promise you can do it." Like I started out at this point and now I'm here. So
You might be scaring people off, basically, is what you're saying. Like even though they can do it, even though they really want it, but they don't even know how to articulate what they want. She's like, advanced high intensity, I'll kill you yoga. Like, right? Like it's like going too
But
crazy on
I
her face.
don't want you to shy away and go to total beginner stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's not what you like and that's not where your heart is. So I don't want you to do that, but I want you to make it feel more accessible to the people. And if people are not showing up live with you, then stop doing that, Ask people what they want. So the people who are interested in what you're doing, send an email to your people and be like, "Hey, look, I am planning a high intensity challenge. It's for people who are new to high intensity yoga, who want to learn more about it. A high intensity for dummies. You don't have to
I
call
wonder
it
if you
that.
could say too, like, are you bored with yoga? Did you try yoga, but you just didn't like it, but you wished you did? Like, there's another way or something like that. But don't you think she still has to cast a bigger net? Like, I mean, she's not getting enough people to show up for anything. Like,
I don't know. Like I think that there's some type
like
of
if I, for example, if I wanted to have an advanced step class, I would go to the step classes and tell all the step classes we're going to do an advanced one on Tuesday. So show up on Tuesday. Like that's how that's how Angie fills classes like for CrossFit. So like she goes out and she says, "Hey, she has this extra class that's like if you like I go to CrossFit. She does what you do. It's like it's for beginners. Anybody can do this. Come." That's how she kind of spins it, and you get in there and you get crushed for an hour and a half or whatever. But like she actually says, we're having an extra workout on Saturday. This is next level, intense, high intensity. Like this is different. It's like, but she farms from the other CrossFit classes for that one class because they have to pay her extra. So they go to that one class on Saturday, and then it's like, whoa, intense. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, where is she farming from to get these people? You know what I'm saying?
And I think part of it, Jennifer, is that what I was going to say. I like lost my train of thought. Anyway, so I don't know. I just like totally lost it.
You had something really epic there you were going
I
to say
know,
too.
but you like interrupted me.
I didn't
So
interrupt you.
you did.
I was interjecting.
That was not interjecting. That was
I was like
interrupting.
asking you a question.
We're gonna have a fight here. Okay. So anyway, I don't know.
So you're telling her don't get away from what you love.
No,
There
I don't
are
think
people
that
that
she
want it.
should.
You just have to find them basically, and
Yeah.
and use the right words to convince
Oh,
them
I
to
know what I
try
was
the
going to
thing.
say. So I think, Jennifer, there's a disconnect between what you're offering people and what they really want. So I think you just need to get to the heart of it. And I don't know if it involves maybe like getting on the phone with someone who signed up for the challenge and being like, hey, not be creepy, but just be like, hey, I noticed you signed up for the challenge and like you didn't come to the live classes. I was just wondering if I could get some information on why. Like, was it at an inconvenient time for you? Do you want to meet up live? Just get some information from a few different people. I think that's going to help a lot. And then I would like to see you do things like give people a link to share with a friend. Like exercise is something that people love to do with a friend. So maybe try to do some of that to like expand your audience out a little bit to somebody who might like it. I don't think it's time for you to give up yet. Like I
You got to
think you
build a
have something
bridge.
there.
That's what the moral of the story is. Like you're not building a bridge between people who are interested in yoga and the yoga that you do, right? Like for example, like DDP Yoga, which is probably the best selling, most famous yoga product on the market right now. Like he specifically says, "This ain't your mama's yoga." Like that's his catchphrase, right? Like he says, "This ain't your mama's yoga," and he's like, and he makes a point to draw that distinction, but it's like he says things like, maybe it's not for sissies, it's not for the weak, it's for the strong, it's for the whatever. And he's trying to build a bridge to the kind of yoga he's doing. So maybe you could like funnel hack them a little bit, like go look at, because he does sell that as more intense yoga. So like you need to go look at someone. That dude's making $10 million a year teaching virtual yoga lessons.
And so,
Okay.
Jennifer, you're always talking about, I'm not a typical yoga person. Like, you're sometimes I think you feel a little bit insecure about that. But maybe, like Shane's saying, maybe you use it to your advantage. If you're looking for the size 00, 6 foot tall, pretzel, you're in the wrong place, who eats only kale chips and I don't know.
Sunflower seeds.
Yeah. Like maybe you sort of play off that a little bit. So I'm not ready for you to give up yet. Like I still think that you have something there.
You can have a tight message and a broad audience, right? So that's what you have to do. You've got to figure out All right, let's try this. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, let's see if we've got it.
You're on like the camera. There we
go. All right.
Hello. Okay, Jeff says we're back.
Are we back?
No, Dan says expect a strongly worded email about this delay.
Bring it. You bring your strongly worded emails. So we are back. I'm not seeing it yet. Yep, we got it.
Okay.
That was some technical wizardry over here.
Okay, and somebody said I bet they have Spectrum, and yes, we do.
We do. Spectrum. You.
What's funny is that it usually
never breaks.
It usually works pretty well.
We usually have pretty good internet at this location. So
okay.
Dan said he liked the close up of me better. I'll go all close up for you next time, Dan. All right. So wrapping up Jennifer's thing. What were the moral of the story? Let's say 1, cast a bigger net. 2, stay true to you and keep selling what you sell. Just find the people that are interested and don't give up, guys. Just because one challenge. Is Jennifer Bradley in here? I'm
not sure.
I don't know if Jennifer's here today, but I was just getting on to her yesterday because it was the same thing. She was like, I tried a challenge and it didn't work. Our challenge is dead. You ever hear people say that? Like, I tried an email marketing campaign in 1 week and it didn't work. Is email marketing dead? Like it's just swing. Stop. Just go and broaden your market, find people, stay true to you, and sell your thing.
The most important thing and the coolest thing is that if you have an audience, you can talk to them, you can communicate with them, ask them.
You have real people walking in your place every day.
Yeah, and ask them, hey, if I were to do this online, what would you like to see? What would be the most beneficial to you?
And how would you like to hear it discussed, basically? All right, let's go on and move on. Okay, so.
Okay, let me see. All right, this question is from Tanya. Tanya says, I took your advice from the last call and I made Loom videos to specific readers, 8 of them, but none of the videos were viewed. Yesterday, I did a Facebook Live, downloaded the video, and sent it to a segment of my list, but only a few of those were open. I'm wondering if putting the word video in the email title may have caused them to go to spam or made it suspicious to my readers. What are your thoughts on this?
I doubt it. No. I mean, it's just, that's why I don't look at open rates and stuff a lot, guys. I just send things to as many people as possible because you will drive yourself insane. It is not, the word video cannot be filtered in all email advertising everywhere.
But you know what? If you suspect that it is, change the subject line and send it again.
Different things.
If they didn't open it the first time, what does it matter?
Yeah, send them something different later. And also, it's probably just size of list. Maybe your list is just really small. Maybe it's Monday and they were so overwhelmed by their work emails they couldn't open it. There's 1,000 reasons why those. Another thing too is you don't know for sure if they got open. Just because it says unopened doesn't mean it's true. I've talked about this before. Google filters out pixels so they can't track you to protect your privacy. So you can't always track exactly what's happening with those open rates anyway. But I seriously doubt it's just one specific word that says, I've emailed the word video in a subject before and they got opened. So that can't be true. The used looms, I'm not sure why people didn't see them, but send more. We send probably how many of those Bonjoros things you think Devin sent in the last month?
Probably hundreds.
We've sent hundreds of individual personalized videos to people over the last couple months. And I don't know what the open rate is. I'm not really looking for it, but I do know this. I know 3 of the people he called or Bonjoro'd, 3 of the people that he sent messages to, that we sent messages to, bought tickets to Flip Your Life Live. That's the people I care about. That's the data that I want. So I wouldn't work. And also too, this goes back to that same problem we were discussing in an earlier question. It's not the first at bat. It's not the first. Maybe the first 20 emails didn't open it. How do you know the next 20 won't?
If you send it to 80 people and no one opened it, then I would be more concerned.
Yeah, or 800 people. Yeah.
There's just really no way to know. It's not enough of a sample size to be significant.
Yeah. So I think that the problem is and a lot of people do this, you're too results oriented and not enough focused on doing the right things to get the results. So it's not about exactly what's happening in the first 20 people you send a used loom to. It's about sending a used loom to everyone forever, period, until it works, right? It's not about how many people downloaded my first podcast. It's I'm a podcaster and I'm going to release a podcast every week for the next 5 years, right? Like it's making the decision to do all the things that get the results and like not focusing on any specific instance. It'd be like a free throw shooter in basketball missing a free throw and being like, well, I suck at free throws. Or, oh, I missed that free throw. I'm going to shoot the next one.
Yeah, and I want you all to look for the podcast with Marty Griffin. It hasn't come out yet. We just recorded it yesterday.
It'll be like 3-4 weeks from now.
Yeah,
probably.
but it was really good.
And it was about this.
Yeah, he had started a podcast. He decided that nobody liked his podcast and decided he was going to give up, but decided not to get rid of the podcast. And lo and behold, he started making money.
Yeah.
Like once he had given up.
Yeah, he gave up, didn't record a podcast for 6 months. Then all of a sudden, people started finding his show, and he made like $1,000 off affiliate clicks. And it was because he just kept going, and because he made so many episodes, and he left them up, and he did all the things, and they produced results. He just wasn't seeing it yet, and you're probably not seeing it yet too. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would just keep going with that. And guys, if you're going to test something in your business, you pick a thing to test and do it for 6 months. Like stop this month. I'm going to try Facebook Living every day for 5 days. Well, nobody watched, so Facebook Lives don't work, right? Like, I'm going to try use looming people for the next 5 people. I'm going to send them a use loom and see if it works. Now, like when we commit to something, we try to commit to it for like 3 to 6 months, period. Like if I'm going to try to email my list every day, I'm not looking at the stats until 6 months is up. If I'm going to try to do Instagram ads and only do Instagram ads and turn off Facebook ads, then I'm going to do that for 6 months. Then I'm going to turn it off because you got to test something for a long time and have actual data, not just anecdotal evidence that something's working or it's not working. Okay. So strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, you're out. Guess what? Most most batters go up 500 times in a season. So sorry, you struck out this time. Like you've got 499 more swings at bat before we know what's really going on. So swing.
All right. Let's see.
Brooke? Is it Brooke maybe?
No. All right. The next question is from Kareem. Kareem says, I'm thinking about doing an online conference for extracurricular activities for homeschoolers. I do not want to do it only on Spanish learning, but a variety of workshops. Do you have any feedback on music, art, cooking, sports, etc.? Why don't you do like Spanish music, Spanish art, Spanish cooking, Spanish sports? Like, I think that would be fascinating.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. When you say a conference too, do you mean you're going to get other people to participate? Or are you going to do like a summit where you're trying to get people to opt in? Are you trying to sell this? Like what is the point too? I would say like, what are you trying to do a conference for? Like most of the time summits or conferences are done to get email addresses because like you go get someone who's good at Spanish cooking and they do a Spanish cooking lesson or a cooking lesson and that brings in their audience. You got to like, don't just do a random conference with random people speaking at it. A conference or a summit is done to get a bunch of emails fast. And you want like, oh, you are going to handle music because you have an audience already. And you're going to tell your whole audience about it. And then you do cooking because you have a cooking audience and you're going to do cooking about it. Like it's not about the content. It's about finding people to partner with you. You all email your lists. You all get people to sign up for this summit. Then you all share the emails. Like that's how to do a summit. So
yeah, so I don't hate the idea if you're going to do it that way of getting people who do just like more general stuff. If you're going to do like affiliates,
right.
If you're going to do
like if you had a
sharing.
homeschool music site because you do homeschool Spanish, you want to go find people that have a homeschool audience because you want more leads. Like there's no reason to do it just for conference or content.
The whole point is to grow your audience. So yeah, I'm not against it.
All right. Good question.
All right. This question is from Carrie. Carrie says, I took a much needed break. I'm back at it with a fresh perspective. I'm trying to refocus. My intended avatar is professional Christian women. I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor, but I'm acting as a mentor coach to help my avatar find Christ-centered life balance, starting with their spiritual wellness. Do you have any advice how to tweak my brand to make it more clear who I am addressing and what I'm doing? Would something like development coach for professional Christian women work? I say yes.
That'd be fine. I think that you could also create like a lead magnet that just says that. Like for example, like you said, my intended avatar is professional Christian women. Why don't you write a devotional that says, um, the daily scripture for professional Christian women, and
Yeah,
like
and
that's an opt-in.
I
You
would
know what I'm
like to
saying?
see you do one maybe on YouVersion and try to get people to opt in that way.
Can
And
you just
like,
make those on YouVersion?
yeah,
The
my
about
friend Shelly did.
really?
Yeah.
Shelly Hits made one
hmm
of those.
Yeah, I think you do have to submit it for approval, but yes, she did.
That's amazing. So you can like make your own devotionals on the Bible app,
hmm
YouVersion Bible app.
Yeah, and it's a
I did
great
not know
way
that.
to get people to check you out. Like you can put a URL on there, and I've checked out several people's stuff that way.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, so just use professional Christian women in your every title you make, like so that it's always saying those things, right? And the goal would be to be, their coach, right? So if you're doing a devotional, you could also put that on Amazon or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to write like a whole year. Like, do one like Jocelyn was saying, like write a 20-page devotional on a topic, and just put it on YouVersion as a daily app, or put it on your site as a download. Like, or do a 1 week devotional, for professional Christian women, basically.
All right. We are moving in to the next question. All right, this question is from Allison. Allison says, my business is to help people become a second career teacher. I seem to always bump up against my subscribers saying, but in my state, blah, blah, blah. It actually says blah, blah, blah. I'm in Texas, so I know Texas best. I don't know a ton about other states. How do I help or encourage my subscribers without knowing the details about how to become a teacher in their states?
Yeah, one, have a place to point them to when they like. But in Tennessee, well, you need to talk about Tennessee. But like, there's a lot of variance, like in like curriculum and stuff too. And we used to just tell people, one, we made this as general as possible. So you need to focus all of your content and stuff on the most general things that do apply everywhere. Like you've got to make it evergreen for everybody everywhere, right? That might mean not talking about certain things. And I would not recommend going out and learning every single thing about every single state. It's more like there are particulars that everyone has to do. Like you probably have to go to some kind of government board to be a teacher. You probably have to go back to school in some way. Like there is a path that you follow, and it is different for every state. It's like the Flip Your Life Blueprint. Like everything about online business is not in the Flip Your Life Blueprint. It's just the guide rails, right? Like you may get to a place like webinars, and that doesn't even apply to you. You may get, or you may say, well, in my business, well, in my thing, yeah, that's true. There are gaps because only you have all the information to your particular situation, and it's the same thing. It's not about where you live. It's like you are wanting to be a second career teacher. Well, here's the 5 general things that everyone has to do. Now, number one may look different in Kentucky than Florida, but you still have to figure that thing out. Like, okay, call your government and ask them where the Department of Education is. Well, every government has a Department of Education. That's true. It's up to them now to go out and make the calls that, get the steps done to get to be a second teacher or whatever. So don't try to solve every problem for everybody. Don't rob your customers of all their problems. And when people say that, just call them out. Be like, hey, I know it's a little different. Stop making excuses. Do you want this or you don't?
Okay, so I'm sort of going to go against that a little bit and say that I don't think it's a terrible idea to have some basic requirements for every state because there's only 50 states. So
Well, I
like
said that, like point them to where they can get
yeah,
their
but
state's information.
I think
I mean,
even being the resource of how to get certified in all 50 states, like I think that's pretty powerful. And it may be something that people would share with other people. So, I mean, you might want to consider that, is all I'm saying. Maybe just like a basic list of things. And, you can always put a disclaimer on there like this information was updated on this date. Please check your specific state for.
so you're saying it could be an opportunity to be like,
Yeah, I really
Allison
think
could
that it
suck it
could.
up and be like, hey, take 2 months and
Yes.
take 50 days and do all 50 states, like
Yeah.
even
So
a checklist or something.
I did this on elementary librarian. When I was a librarian, one of the big things was to get on these listservs. So basically, it's like an email list, and there was one for pretty much every state. So the one for Kentucky, I forgot what it's called now because it's been so long. But anyway, there was one for Kentucky where all the Kentucky librarians could talk. There's a national listserv where you can talk to all the librarians, and you send an email and it goes to like all the people on the list. So anyway, I made a page on Elementary Librarian with the listserv for every state. And so that meant that I had to go look up, okay, what's the librarian listserv for Alaska? What's the librarian listserv for Alabama? I had to go look them all up. But then I can make a cute little Pinterest pin and say, every library listserv in the United States, and that could be a resource for people who were looking for something like that. Now, is it a good idea to try to do the entire world or whatever? Probably not. But because the United States has a finite number of states, it might be something worth looking into.
And also, like, how big would they be, do you think? Like, maybe these questions are what you need to make as they ask them, and then you just build it over time.
Yeah, so you could even do
don't do them all at once, just when they ask.
What do I need to do to become a teacher in Kentucky? What do I need to do to become a teacher in Texas? Like that is something that people might type into Google, and it might get you found in search too.
And we have a saying too, like, you're only one question away from someone giving you money. So if you just answer every question like that someone asks you, they'll probably give you the money because you went and found it for them. So I don't know. There's two paths there. It's kind of like evergreen, leave me alone, or do everything. It just depends which way you want to go. So how do you solve that? That's up to you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for traffic, like it might be a good idea.
It'd be a good idea for traffic for sure. Even a blog post about all that stuff could be general information, and then the course could be like, like if I typed in "be a teacher in Florida," right? If she had a blog post about that was the basics of Florida's stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be a course. It could just be like, here's the Department of Education, here's the whatever. Oh, my thing that shows you.
And then you could have a page that had every state listed, or like a map of all the states, and when they clicked one, it went to that blog post. So SEO strategy.
You could get in a deep rabbit hole off of that. The thing is, and it's your answer them.
All right. One question. So if you have a question that we didn't get to, go ahead and copy and paste it for me, because when we get off, I'm afraid maybe we might have missed some. So, all right. All right. This question is from David and Jill, and it says, "What is the best way to put video on our site? Is it a plugin, or should it be put somewhere else like YouTube or Vimeo and link to it?" You can probably tell I don't really know what I'm talking about. No worries. None of us knew what we were talking about when we started.
Right. Embed it. That's what you want to do. You want to host it on Vimeo or YouTube, and you want to embed it. You don't really want to use on-site plugins. You don't want to host it or upload it to your own media because it'll slow your website down. So
okay,
and embed it onto your site somewhere.
So this is another one of those things where if you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of money, YouTube is fine. A lot of people put their stuff on YouTube. There are some benefits of YouTube. First of all, it's free. Second of all, there's an opportunity for people to find you who might not find you on your site because maybe they're searching for videos in YouTube. However, there are a few things that are not about YouTube. The first one is that people can have ads on your video. They can have they link to other people's videos after your video, and you have no control over that. The good thing about Vimeo is that you can make it where there is nothing before or after your video. You can also make it where it does go to another one of your videos. So you have more control is what I'm trying. But the bad thing about it is that, it does cost money to use it. There's also one called Wistia, I think. We have used it before and it was fine. So there are other services out there to look at, and you just have to decide what's the most important to you. Is it more important to you to save a little bit of money right now until your site picks up traction, or is it more important to you to have more control over what you're...
I have a kind of a rule because I make all the posts on the site and stuff. Like, my rule is, if it's free content, I usually use YouTube. Like, if I'm doing a blog post and I need to make a video for it. But if it's paid content like our course, then I do paid hosting because I want maximum control over paid stuff. So all the courses in the Flip Your Life Blueprint, or 90% of them, I won't say all, are on Vimeo, and I just host them there. But like these member calls, anytime I do any kind of blog post that requires a video, I usually just do it on YouTube because it's a good embed, and putting it on YouTube gives me a better chance for more people to find it. So paid content is usually using a paid service. Free content, I usually use a free. I saw a question from Brooke, Jocelyn. I think we did miss a couple here. Did you see Brooke's question? Where was Brooke's question? Let me find this here. I saw it and I rolled right past it. Brooke. Oh no, she was actually talking to. Never mind. She was asking someone else a question. Okay. All right. I don't see any more questions. Did we miss
All
any?
right, I'm very sorry about all the technical difficulties today. I don't know
Yes.
what is going on. Apparently, it's not very good right now.
Yeah,
So I hope you
something's wrong with our
can
internet. They might be
still hear
working on it
us.
somewhere. So
So
it's all
at
good.
any rate, I hope that you guys can join us for Flip Your Life Live. We're going to put the link in there. We really want to see you. We have just a few tickets remaining. So join us in Lexington, September 19th through the 21st.
And I have 2 spots, it looks like, left for our all access mastermind. So if you'd like to work directly with me and Jocelyn for the next 12 weeks and let us help you make massive progress before Flip Your Life Live, we would love to do that. I'm going to keep those spots open until the end of the week or until they fill up, and then close it back down, because we have to keep that very limited because we're very involved, almost on a basis with all of our private mastermind people. So that's fliplifestyle.com/private. Check that out right now. And we would love to have you in that. We'd love to see you at Flip Your Life Live. And we'll see you again next week on our next member call, because we are having one back to back. That's just the way the months fell. So tune in next week. We will try to have better internet and not crash our video right in the middle of the thing. I'm surprised our son didn't run in. Internet goes out, he freaks out because he can't play his Xbox. So I'm surprised that we didn't have 2 kids barge in here going, the internet's out. There's no Wi-Fi. What are we going to do with our lives? How about go outside? That'd be great. All right, guys, have a great day. And if you need anything else, just post it in the forums and we will get those questions there. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.